don't consider myself to be a YouTuber, but I thought I'd make a quick little video today because it's a sad day. It's a sad day. I'm sitting on the organ bench in front of the organ console of our Karn-Warren organ here at the First Baptist Church here in Wallaceburg. And unfortunately, this organ has reached the end of its life. Our organist, Barb Myers, served this church for literally decades as a marvelous servant of God and servant of this church. And I cannot say enough about her organ playing and what she's done for this congregation over the years. But a year ago, a little over a year ago, she retired. She left the organ bench, and this has been silent ever since. You can't find an organist. You can't find an organist, particularly to come to a small community. Organists that are well trained, they're attracted to the instrument itself, not the church, not the theology or anything like that. They want to know, is it a cassavant? How many stops does it have? You know, and how big is it? How many manuals and all that sort of stuff? And do they get to conduct a professional choir? Unfortunately, you'll never attract anyone to a small community like this to take over the pipe organ. But it all started several decades ago. It's nothing particularly new. People started walking away from taking organ lessons, even piano lessons. I talked to Doug Kennedy up at Kennedy Music before he closed his doors, and he said he was closing because people just weren't taking piano lessons anymore. That's what their business was, selling pianos. So it's a sad day. 2 days from right now, this organ and all the pipes back up behind, they'll be in the dumpster out in the parking lot. And that to me is just a sad statement. Nothing anyone can do about it. I mean, we couldn't find an organist, and it sat for so long. It needs some work, and I understand the fact that you can't invest $15,000 or more in an instrument that's going to sit here most of the time. They're very subject to the weather and humidity and all that sort of stuff. And it's getting more difficult to find organ repair people even. So unfortunately, I hate to say it's time for it to go, as sad as it is. So it's referred to as the king of musical instruments, and I just don't think that anybody really, or most people don't have any clue really just how complex of an instrument this really is. Each one of these keyboards is referred to as a manual, and for every one of these keys on this manual, there is a pipe up there associated with every one of these little flippers, okay? I'll call them flippers, but they are stops on the organ. And for every one of these stops, it's a different type of a pipe, different sound, different timbre. And so there is a pipe for that rank of pipes all the way for every one of these keys. There are presets here. You can join certain stops together to make combinations of sounds. There's the foot pedal board down below. You can't see where I'm sitting. There is the swell chamber, which is up above. On this side, on my right side, there's the organ chamber. There's a whole bunch of louvers. It's in a contained box. And if I press this one pedal down here, which you can see maybe in the video a little bit further along, there's a set of louvers that will open. Suddenly the organ becomes very bright. And if you want it to be very muted and gentle and soft, you close those louvers. So there's a lot of different pipes up there, different kinds. There's wooden pipes, there's metal pipes. And there are single reed, double reed, and there are stopped pipes and open pipes. If you know anything about physics and so on, if you take an 8-foot pipe and you close the top off, you can make it sound like a 16-foot pipe. And so that's how they get different sounds and different timbres. Of course, wooden pipes sound completely different than metal pipes. But I say this whole process started decades ago, and probably a decade and a half ago, the Christian church sort of moved towards contemporary Christian music, which saddens me to a large degree, not because the music's all bad, but it just sort of mirrors the secular world. Christian music has its own top 40 hits, and we get new songs I don't want to say every week. We get new songs all the time. It's the latest, greatest songs, and some of them are really good, because I'm a music person at heart, and there's good stuff and there's not such good stuff. A lot of the music doesn't lend itself due to the meter of it. It's difficult, not meant for group singing, but we tried anyway. And you know, there's been a lot of complaints about the old hymns, and young people don't like the old hymns. They're very formulaic, and you know, verse, 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 verse. Sometimes verse, chorus, verse, chorus. But you know what? The contemporary music is very formulaic as well. I mean, you know, you're going to get verse, chorus, bridge 3 times. Then you get a chorus again. Then you're going to get half the chorus. Then you're going to get the last line, and maybe the last line softer and slower. It's a great dramatic effect. Anyway, it's just a comment on the state of music in the church. Not this one in particular. It's everywhere I go. I just wish that there was more of a combination, a little more honoring of the past, of those great hymns where you have one syllable, one note, none of this melismatic singing and stuff like that, and just weird meters. But anyway, that's enough of my political commentary. Anyway, it's a sad day. In a couple days, like say 2 days from now, this will all be out in the dumpster. But before they do, I want to take one last look, see if we can get back in behind the organ and take a look at some of the way it works, the way it operated for so many years. Let's take one last look at the internals of the organ and just see what was back here that nobody ever saw from week to week. Now back here, this is one of the wind chests, and these are the bellows. As the blower would fill it, this would rise, and there's some weights on top here because as you need more pipes, as you need more air to play different pipes, all of a sudden it has greater requirements, and the fan could not possibly keep up, or the blower. So what would happen is this would be full, and as you add another stop, then this could drop but still have enough air to make the pipe sound. Now these are some of the larger pipes, of course, associated with the foot pedals down the lower notes. Each one of these pipes actually sounds, and you can only imagine how much air it takes to make one of these to speak. This will be the lip in here, and they go up quite a ways up there. It depends on they're quite long, and depending on how low the note is. And we'll look at a few of the wooden stopped pipes as well. Each of the different kinds of pipes. There are open pipes, there are stopped pipes, there are wooden pipes, there are metal pipes, there are single reed, there are double reeds. It's a very, very complex instrument. Let's take a look at some of the other pipes up top. So here's a look inside one of the pipe chambers, and you can see the metal pipes, wooden pipes. These pipes, wooden pipes here, you see they have looks like a little piece of dowling coming at the top. That's because it's stopped. And if you understand anything about acoustics, if you take an 8-foot pipe and put a stop on it, you can make it sound like a 16-foot pipe. And that's how they get different sounds out of these, as well as the different materials that they're made out of. Let's get a little closer look. You can see how small some of them are. I could take one out and just blow in it, and you can hear just how fine that sound is. You can see there's a pipe missing out of right here. I'm not really sure where that pipe has gone. It may have been a cipher, which is a pipe that somehow leaks and it just won't stop sounding. So what you would do in an emergency is to pull that out. Look at these wooden pipes and see how they're constructed. Rather interesting. I'll pull this G out. It says G, so let's just try this. So there's one of the wooden pipes. You see how large they get. These are the pipes that we looked at from down below, and you can see they come up from way down below, so they are very, very low notes. Here's a better look at some of the wooden ones. I don't know if you can see the ones at the top, at the back. It's very large diameter. It's probably 10 inches square on that pipe. Even if I could pull one out, there's no way I'd come up with enough air to make one of those sound from my lungs. That's why the wind chests and the bellows are so important. And this is only one side of the organ. This is we have to go to the other side of the organ. I don't know how much we'll be able to see, because there's a whole bunch inside what they call the swell chamber. Then here's a wind chest on this side of the pipe organ, and you can see the bellows here. It's collapsed right now, and has this very heavy iron weight on top, as well as some springs that help push it down. So the wind chest would fill that with air, and that would rise, as already explained, and it would fall as more pipes were added. And like I said, it's very complex, and there's this gizmo here that helps send signals back. You know, it needs more air and so on and so forth. Really quite fascinating instrument. I'm going to see if we can get in a little closer to some of the pipes on this side, over near the swell chamber. Now the pipes on this side are much more difficult to see because they're so packed in here. There's a big giant wooden pipe right there. I don't know how well you can see with the poor lighting. These metal pipes right here, you can see where the metal's been bent as they tune the pipe and to make it sound a certain way. Way over down here, it's really difficult to see. I'll see if I can zoom in, but there's you can see the little wire down at the bottom of that pipe, and I'm not sure what pipe that would be, what rank that would be, but it would have a totally different sound. This side has been particularly difficult to get into, but you can see the different ranks of pipes here as well. You can see wooden pipes, metal pipes, single reeds, double reeds. Just fascinating. I don't know if you can see this, but this is the swell chamber. If you take a look up, there is a connection, that piece of wood at the top, that would open those louvers. So suddenly the sound would go from muffled inside the chamber here to very, very clear, very open. Some very, very small pipes here. Those platforms right there where the organ tuner would have to get up on to work on these pipes. Not easy to maneuver in here, let me tell you. It's not an old man's job to be tuning a pipe organ. This is the blower that generates all the air to power to make all the pipes sound. And if you follow the pipe down the floor there, a rather large pipe that goes over there, and it splits, and some of the air goes into that particular wind chest, and the other air goes to the far side of the wind chest that I've already shown. Some quite complex things in here. If you look up in the ceiling, there's some pneumatic tubes here, because it's an electro-pneumatic action. So you press a key, and sometimes it uses air pressure, sometimes it uses electric signals, contacts to make pipes sound. Notice that big lever on the top of the wind chest over there. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but it sends signals when it needs more air. It's quite fascinating. A lot of this stuff has been slowly disconnected right now. I'm not really sure what this box is down below, but it looks rather interesting. It was electronic, and it's disconnected as well. This is a fascinating piece of equipment. This is a mechanical connection. If you can follow that, there's a universal joint on the far side there. You can see where that pipe takes a bend and heads out. That goes right to the foot pedal, and that's what runs the louvers on the swell chamber. If you follow this all the way up, I don't know how well you'll be able to see, but it's a mechanical connection all the way to the top, and it operates that all the louvers. Fascinating instrument.
I can't argue. My picture.
What are these great big metal ones? Are they going?
I think they're going. I'm not taking those. Or at least we might try cutting them in half or something. But they're not coming today.
This is the first time I've ever done it.
Oh. Wow. Yeah.
Whatever it is, it broke free anyway. What you told her. Yeah.
What's holding it on? Screws, glue, or do you know?
We don't know.
So that's what's left on this side. Nothing.
timber.
Ready? Should be able to twist.
Twist down.
Yep.
Selenium.
Break down.
Fire.
Yeah, got her.
Got her.
Toss. Flow.
Well, I had hoped to get my original video out before we started dismantling the organ, but everything happened far too quickly, and I couldn't get that done before that happened. Anyway, so everything's here in one place. Its final days. Anyway, a couple days after the dismantling, I sit here in what used to be an organ chamber. The only thing left is the wooden structure that held up the pipe wind boxes, where the pipes all sat in, and all the valve work that was underneath. There was, I would say, probably miles of electrical work taken out, pneumatic tubes cut, valving that was tossed out. It was painful to watch. I'll be very honest. Anyway, this isn't on any one individual or anything like that. It's more of a reflection of society that tends to slough aside anything that happens to be of another day, of another era. Don't appreciate that. I'm going to urge anyone who attends a church that still has a pipe organ to learn to embrace that organ, because it is, once it's gone, it's never coming back. I think of society, you know, every now and then something old becomes new again. Think of the record vinyl revival right now. It is huge. It is huge. What if one day the pipe organ comes back into vogue, and your pipe organ went out into a dumpster? It's not coming back, and no church is going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's for a cheap one, mind you. It could be well north of $1 million, depending how many stops, how large the organ is. There's so many variables and how much they can cost, but they could be millions of dollars. So it's not likely going to happen once it's gone. Anything you might replace it with would be certainly electronic and not a true wind instrument. Anyway, sad day. It's long gone, and all I could do, the best I can do, is I saved one of the pipes as a souvenir before they broke the foot off and tossed it in the garbage. So I leave you with a G sharp.